So I was hoping you could look ahead and tell me what you think the changes are going to be in the tourism industry. It's taken a heck of a beating during this pandemic. Wondering where you think it's going and whether the industry and the rest of us are up to the challenge of making sure it goes in the right way.
Sure. Well, where do I start?
Well,
I think, first of all, demand is going to be overwhelming. There are a lot of people who have developed a true sense of wanderlust during this lockdown. And many people are expecting that we're going to go through a period much like the Roaring 20s, which followed on the last pandemic, of course. We had the stock market going crazy. We had people buying products like crazy. Inflation started to spiral a little bit out of control. And many expect that we're going to see the same thing in this instance. Unfortunately, I don't think supply is going to keep up with demand. Most people, I think, when they think about travel, are really thinking international travel. And that will probably be the last sector to open up. What you'll see is local travel will open up, lots of people taking trains and buses, that kind of thing. Then you'll start to see domestic travel, domestic airline travel in particular. And then finally, there'll be international. And international could be a little while before it opens up, just because so much depends upon vaccine rates, local market regulations, whether or not they're allowing for social distancing or not requiring social distancing, masks, and the like. And so, at least for the little while, for a couple of years, we're going to have to be very careful in how we choose our international destinations, which ones we choose to go to.
for safety reasons you're referring to.
For safety reasons, absolutely. And I think, we may see prices rise rather dramatically. Inflation aside, if you think about the consequences of simply social distancing, especially on an extended flight where there's going to be a meal service, you probably aren't going to be stacking people 5 across the center and 3 on each side. And that reduced capacity, of course, is going to mean higher prices for air travel.
Well, I would think for cruises as well, wouldn't you? I wouldn't think they're going to pack in 1,500 or 2,000 people the way they have been doing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for cruises, where at least part of the attraction is the incredible food that you're given, lots and lots of it, and lots of variety.
Yeah.
Of course, with pandemic, you can't be wearing a mask while you eat, and so that may create even greater demands on them.
So when you talked about in the short term, people are probably going to stick a little closer to home. So that bodes well for a place like Kingston, I would think, where we've got things people want to see and do if we plan things correctly. Would you agree that this is an opportunity maybe for an historic place like Kingston with a great waterfront and all the benefits that we have here?
It's going to be very interesting to see the dialogue that occurs as this happens, because number one, you're quite right. Places like Kingston, Prince Edward County, Thousand Islands, we are going to become more and more popular. In fact, Prince Edward County is already being referred to by many as Muskoka's East, because all of the Toronto people are coming down. The interesting question, though, is whether or not local residents want all of that tourism. Certainly economically, it's desirable, but it probably means that you're going to have a harder time getting seats in restaurants and the like. And we get a little taste of that when we were not in lockdown and Toronto was, and you started seeing people complaining about busloads of Toronto folks coming to sit on our patios or get their nails done or what have you. So there'll be a little bit of protectionism as well, and a little bit of, I came to Kingston to retire. I want my retirement place to be a little quieter than it is, and now we've got all these folks, pouring out of Toronto and Ottawa to come and destroy our solitude. It'll be interesting to see. It'll be good for business. May not be good for residents.